Hello, I'm Bedrock, and today I want to make a point which is admittedly quite ridiculous, but it's one that's important to make regardless, because I wanted to talk about just how important history is, just how important understanding all of the reasons and the results of past conflicts and how people deal with them is to your daily life. It can help you with any aspect of the modern world, and to prove that more than anything else, I figured why not talk about the most important aspect of modern day life. That's right, it's Minecraft minigames of course, and talk about how Treasure Wars is really just a daily recreation of the Cold War, and therefore how knowing about the Cold War, even on just a basic surface level understanding, can really help you with your Minecraft minigame playing. This is a very real, I swear, point we're going to try to make by playing some Treasure Wars, and to show you how knowing history can really help out your Minecraft skills. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to get some resources, because every country needs resources to fight wars or to do any action, and then we're going to use these resources to aggressively expand, because looking at the map down there, you might assume, oh, there's like 8 separate, teams playing here, 8 separate countries that could all, vie for dominance, all be #1, but the truth is, there are only, like 2 players in this game. The rest of them look like they're playing like, oh yeah, they could all totally win, but in the age of the Cold War, there were only really 2 sides. There were for the winner against the winner, for the other guys against those guys, and that might sound ridiculous, but let me prove how it's true by taking out, this guy over here, who is very red, by the way. But we're going to go right to this person, and we're going to aggressively expand into their territory. We're going to destroy their treasure instantly. Oh, apparently we're not going to. Oh, he's going to knock me off. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna very quickly expand in this little fist fight, but it's fine. Again, really basic war compared to the rest of them. Knock them over the edge, destroy their treasure. And now they're dead and they're gone. They can't respawn anymore, and I think they just left the game. I don't see them anymore, at least. Oh, here he is. Oh, he's throwing gold at me. Like, see, look at this. You can get rich by just extorting countries by basically taking them out and then negotiating on better terms. And then, once you've taken the money, you can just kill them anyway. Again, useful lesson for real life as well. Hope that helps you. I'm a monster. It's fine, though. But yeah, the Cold War was one of the most interesting wars that the planet's ever seen, because it wasn't really actually a war. Despite being the one with the highest stakes, the one where the most people almost died, there were no actual direct conflicts between the US and the Soviet Union. And it's super interesting that, because despite all the aggression, all the stuff that goes into war, how is it the 2 sides never really fought? And hopefully, this video will show you how once you've identified who your major enemy is, you don't actually need to directly attack them. Really, it can be a war of ideas, a war of worlds. And to show that better than anything else, let's go to the center here, which we're going to call the third world for now, because it's very rich with resources, in this case emeralds, which are going to allow us to buy diamond armor, diamond swords, etc. And you might think, wow, this must be the most valuable place on the map. This is what everyone wants all the time. And although that is true, the interesting thing about it is the real value in holding the center, the real value in the third world, the reason that both the US and the USSR put so much effort into it, was because the highest part of the value of it was not allowing it to fall into the other side's hand. Again, the reason there was an ideological war, the reason it was such a big thing, is because both communism and capitalism need other countries like them to succeed. Free trade works the best when you have lots of countries all specializing in a different area, all, oh god, we're getting attacked already. But it works best when you have lots of different countries all specializing in different areas, all doing their own things. Hey, we did it. That's how, free trade works best, and communism requires a revolution in every country or it doesn't succeed in any country. The exact reasons on why, I'm not, a communist scholar or anything, but it is a thing that is widely believed, and because of that, they needed to influence countries that weren't just on their side already, weren't already capitalist or communist, but they need to get the third world of countries onto their side. Fun fact, the reason it's called the third world is because the US aligned world was called the first world, whereas the communist aligned world was called the second. Therefore, if you weren't an either, you know what that makes you? The third world. Also, let's try and take out the guy in diamond armor. I don't know how well this is going to go, but let's do it anyway. Oh, he's lagging. See, look how easy this is. It's not even with him lagging, there's a lot of hits required. He's just not going down, is he? There we go, perfect. But just to clarify, so far we've taken down a guy who doesn't seem to be there. He's either lagging or AFK, maybe both, as well as a guy who was, like basically begging for his life. So, so far it doesn't look so good for like, the moral case for what we're doing. But on the other hand, shows our strength, doesn't it? And just like this, as we finally kill this AFK person, you'll see how down at the bottom, oh, it turns out it really was a war of 2 sides after all. Like, oh, it looked like there were so many people who could be in contention for the winning place, but that's not how it really is. There's 2 dominant sides, and the 2 sides have to fight, or, in the case of the Cold War, never fight at all. Again, the entire situation was a conflict of ideology, a conflict of proxy wars and like, kind of indirect fights, kind of like how schoolgirls fight by being like, will you believe it? Gina told me that she told her that you did a bad thing. And she's like, nah, Gina's just a lying, two-faced, son of a whore or whatever. Like, you know how teenage girls are. That's kind of what this fight has to be. You have to indirectly fight. Direct conflict isn't really a good thing. It's not a desirable thing. And instead, the policy of the time was just containment. All you need to do to win the Cold War is contain the other side. As long as they can't keep on spreading, as long as you get the economic advantage, which is what the US had, by the way, because the USSR spent so much on military, so much inefficiency, and also most of their money came from oil in the first place. But if you have the economic lead, if you have, the ideological lead, i.e. you have the third world on your side, or, just even a lot of countries allied to you, then you don't need to destroy the other side, and in fact, it's really dangerous for you to. But instead, all you need to do is really wait the other side out. All you need to do is stop. But instead, all you need to do is wait the other side out. All you need to do is convince them that, conflict might be around the corner, and then that's going to be enough that they can't attack you, you can't attack them, and everyone's a happy family. A couple of small arrow shots just like this scares them off, and they're probably going to run away after this. But it's really interesting because the name of the game in the Cold War was ensuring that you didn't fight. Instead of guaranteeing that you would, it was just guaranteeing that you wouldn't and trying to have the most advantageous circumstances in which you weren't fighting. Neither side wanted to have a fight. Both sides could annihilate not only the entire other country, but also the entire planet. Fun fact, there's like 15,000 nukes in the world right now. I want to say 14,000 belong to either the US or to Russia. It's like 7,000 each. There's basically what I'm trying to say here is, it's a little bit lopsided when it comes to where all the nukes are at. And even though it's arguable that one country might have had better defense systems and was better spread to protect against it, you could argue all day again. It's like, if there was a nuclear war, how would that go? Neither side wanted it because it would be innocent civilians by the millions who would die. So instead of engaging directly, instead of risking all those people who elected you, or in the case of the communist countries who, theoretically elected you, instead of, making a big situation for them, why not instead just keep convincing everyone you're about to fight, but that you really don't want to? Or to simplify even further, it was just a giant game of chicken that had the whole of humanity's life at stake. But, who doesn't love a good game of chicken? So despite the fact that neither side was really willing to directly fight, it wasn't really in anyone's interest to have that giant game. So despite the fact that it wasn't really in either side's interest to have a direct scale fight, they would always get close to it a lot of the time, and it was therefore, it could happen at any time, therefore it's worth investing a lot of time and money in having situations where we can have an advantageous war. So, for example, make a big base right next to theirs. In the case of the USSR, there were nukes stationed in Turkey right next to Russia. In the case, one of the biggest crises of the Cold War, the Bay of Pigs invasion, the Cuban Missile Crisis, all of that Cuba stuff basically was because Cuba was so close to the US, it threatened, their dominance, etc. So yeah, the whole name of the game is like, try and have advantageous situations to not fight in. No one wants to fight, but, let's have situations where if we did have to fight, it would be good regardless. So, yeah, you build defenses that you're never going to use. You have attacking posts that you never need to use, such as my version of Cuba or Turkey just over here. Again, it's like right over there, allows me to restock, resupply. In fact, the UK as well as Japan are both known as like the America's unsinkable aircraft carriers, right? Because like, oh yeah, I guess, they are kind of like aircraft carriers that can't be sunk. Also, this guy is getting like a lot more resistant than I figured. Maybe we should just like fire a few warning shots. Just a couple. That was probably a bit more than a warning shot. Just a little bit. But again, it does match fairly accurately what happened in the war. I mean, there are a lot of situations. There's the Korean Airlines flight that was shot down over the Soviet Union, for instance, where a lot of civilians did die as a result of the tensions, where you didn't know what was civilian, what wasn't. And I guess, therefore, that's what happened just there. But our goal for winning here is, again, not to actually directly engage. We could risk it, run in there, try and mine his base, and we have what, like a 90% chance of success, 95% chance of success? We have all the cards in our hand, but instead what we do is we wait it out, and then we see what happens. Because in the real Cold War, you might think, so, the US decisively won, and a lot of presidents try to claim victory for winning the Cold War, even though really they just inflamed it. There's a few famous examples of this one. Reagan's the biggest example, like, oh yeah, he won the Cold War. But I mean, no, he just inflamed tensions, made it more likely things would go bad. But yeah, what you really just need to do is did I kill him? I don't think I did. But yeah, what you really instead need to do is wait for them to leave. Wait for them to give up. What actually happened is the USSR just fell apart and the US won by default. There were no direct battles, there was no real conflicts besides, again, accidental civilian deaths, and as a result, you can win the war. And to show that, let's do this again, actually. I actually wasn't expecting them to leave so fast. I was hoping we could, like, really expand on our point, really make them want to leave, but they just kind of gave up. Again, I mean, matches a lot of countries right there. So let's do this again, shall we? Let's show you how exactly the same strategy is going to work every single time. So we start with aggressive expansion, as always. A fun fact you might not actually know is because, again, the Cold War is basically a result of, like, oh yeah, during World War II, the Allies were kind of ideologically opposed, and therefore, as soon as it was over, they were at each other's throat. But a fun fact you might not know about that is the fact that literally, you know, before the war was even over, there was a race to Berlin. Like, whoever got to Berlin first was obviously going to win. And yeah, that's what we just did today. We raced to a country that should have been quite powerful, and then we just immediately destroy it. The game was not like, could we destroy their base? It's how fast we could do it, and we did it faster than last time, so go me. And yeah, all we need to do is we need to we really need to get a sword before he gets over here. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, he's gone for me instead. Oh, that was a mistake, friend. That was a big mistake. And now I've killed him. He's permanently gone that fast. Less than a minute into the game, we've lost our closest friend, which makes it a lot easier for us. And that kind of matches the feeling at the end of the World War II that led into the start of the Cold War, because they pretty much overlap, right, the two wars. Because even before Germany was defeated, it was like, so who gets to control it when it's done? And that question is one that caused quite a lot of controversy, because, you know, the Soviets wanted to destroy Germany to make it pay for literally, you know, destroying Europe and killing so many Soviet lives and lots of other crimes. You know, did you know that Germany during World War II were actually the bad guys? It's, again, not commonly taught in history, right? But no, jokes aside, you know, the USSR wanted to destroy Germany, whereas the US was like, you know, maybe we should rebuild it and just make it not want to, you know, have another Hitler, because the whole reason for World War II was World War I being handled poorly. Aha! Yes. Oh no, it was someone. Oh man. We celebrated victory a little bit too early on that one. May have ran away from someone. May have got them to stop chasing me. May now be dead because my treasure defense is really one-dimensional. But we tried our best and that's all that counts. But yeah, this game comes down to the exact same thing as last time. It's all about making sure other people can't have access to the emeralds. Because if they get diamond armor, it makes them a lot harder to fight. If you have diamond armor and someone else doesn't, it doesn't matter about the rest of the details. And that's also kind of how nukes were, right? Like, there was a stage in the world where, and it still kind of is true, that like, if you have nukes, your voice matters more. The UN permanent security seats, the people who decide like how things go in the world, like, oh, should we invade, you know, insert country here? Should we wait it out? Like, what's the international reaction to Y event? That's determined by the countries which are officially allowed nukes. There are a few others that now have nukes, India and Pakistan, that, you know, the reason that conflict's such a big deal is because both of them, you know, they have access to some nuclear weapons. Makes any, you know, bad things between them a little bit more serious. But yeah, it's interesting because countries with nukes have a bit more power, and that's kind of how, you know, diamond armor is in this game. Diamond armor is basically a nuke is what I'm saying here. You can quote me on that. And the whole of the reason behind the Cold War is because if someone has nukes, even if they lose the conflict, they destroy so much of the world, you know? It's like a... It's a real, you know, crisis that, oh, we're out of arrows, I can't do this anymore. Why did I fight them? Why did I fight the person with diamond armor? I'm literally talking about how important it is and how you're not going to win a fight against someone like that. Oh, man. Why did I? I had all the emeralds to get my own. And I was like, you know, how important... I was literally just talking about how important it was. Literally that second. And then I fought the person with diamond armor. It's just such a, again, in the case of Minecraft, diamond armor means that you take 80% less damage. It doesn't matter what weapon the other person has, if it's not, you know, attached to some diamond armor, it doesn't matter. So for instance, our iron sword does 6 damage in Minecraft. With diamond armor, that goes down to 1.2, right? You know, divided by 5, except that rounds down to 1. It's like you're attacking someone with your fist. Did my stuff just despawn? It's like you're attacking someone with your fist if they have that armor. That's literally how ineffective you're being. And yeah, it's pretty tragic. Oh, this guy had emeralds. And so if we conclude that diamond armor is basically nukes, it's interesting because the way you get the emeralds is you go to these third world countries, right? You know, the place that isn't really controlled by anyone. It's not really an important player by itself. It's not like they can win or anything like that. Oh, gosh. Oh, my arrows are just not hitting. Okay, here we go. Ah, he's got the emeralds back now. He's gonna have the nukes. Oh, there is a person right behind me as I did that jump. Like, I was already kind of like, ooh, that was lucky of me. But you see how they have diamond armor? Until I have mine, I am just trying to make them not attack me. That is all I can do. I can do like a point of damage or something like that with my bow, and that's it. Not even a point, like not even half a point. Like some minute amount. So we're gonna get the diamond armor as fast as we can. Because now we can fight back. You might think you're powerful, Mr. Red Man. Again, we're literally fighting the Reds today. You know, I think that's perfect, personally. And he thinks he's got this genius idea of like, why don't I build up? But I can just knock him down and do damage each time as well. Because little does he realize he can't go sideways, but I totally can. Oh, whatever. So the plan is for him to just jump down from there. Oh, I think he already has. Did he fall off? Oh, he's down here somewhere. Like, he's placing yellow. Oh, he's in there. Oh, that's what he's doing. So he's trapped himself in a corner now. He's trapped himself inside my base. That's usually not the smartest of moves. I mean, usually you try to do the opposite of that, right? Yeah, this guy, I don't understand his strategy. Maybe he's trying to get closer to my bed or my treasure. He's dead, though. Better dead than red. Really, I did him a favor. Oh, he's bridged over there, but little does he know. I'm right behind him. Oh, you can... Oh, there was only like 2 blocks in between me and him. So just like this, I want to prove how even though we're now in this horrendously bad situation, we've lost our treasure, he hasn't lost his. I think our same strategy from before, even though we clearly have the lower hand, we can just wait for him to leave, and I think that will genuinely just work. He's literally put 4 blocks around his bed. That's all he has. But yeah, even though we're in a situation where like anyone dies on their next hit, you know, he should have every incentive to be aggressive. He's not gonna be. He's gonna just keep on being like, oh yeah, I can get you until I do something aggressive. Then he's gonna back off. That seems to be how Minecraft PvP works. Because again, like whoever has first hit has a huge advantage. So if we just convince him, I'm gonna keep going for it. I'm gonna get you any second now. I'm gonna fire arrows at you. Just fire some warning shots. That should be all it takes for him. That should be all it takes for him to eventually just leave the game in frustration. And, again, as you all do know, that's how we win this. We wait for the other person to leave in frustration, and then we win. Doesn't work in any other game, but it seems to work all the time in Minecraft. I actually learned this technique. Again, it's a terrible technique. You shouldn't do it if you have the choice. But it's weird. I learned this while trying to get a game of Skywars to last for an hour. Like, can I, you know, keep someone trying to fight me for an hour? You can't. Everyone has a lower attention span than that. Again, the average minigame is meant to last about 10 minutes. So after a long enough time, they just leave. And again, just like how the Soviet Union fell apart, you win when they leave. It's also worth noting there's a yellow team. You can see them building way over there. I'm going to try and knock him off the edge. I can't see him. Oh, I can't him either, apparently. Arrows don't go really far in Minecraft, apparently. I'm going to get closer to him. Gonna see if we can do it from here, maybe? Arrows go... Look at these arrows. Look how terribly, like, bent they are. So I think I accidentally killed the guy. Yep, oops. I guess we're fighting the yellows now. Because they were left alive this entire game, and I just kind of forgot about them. I was like, oh, must have disconnected or something. He's got some clever plan where he lives down there or something. I didn't even know. Also, isn't it funny how, like, you know, this whole time that guy was actually quite aggressive. He was doing quite well. Fighting me, got in my base. 1 arrow hit because he didn't realize I could see him, and then he's dead. But yeah, here's the other guy. He's gonna live under an island, and we've got 7 minutes 40 seconds. He has every disadvantage. He's basically trapped down there. I have every advantage because I'm not trapped, and therefore we'll see how this goes. If this guy has a strategy, I've yet to see it or understand it, but I'm gonna come close to him anyway. Again, for threats to work, for you to actually be able to succeed by making someone think that they're, you know, you're coming after them, you just need to keep on going after them a little bit, you know, not enough to make them actually retaliate, but enough to be like, oh no, something's gonna happen. The same way how you flinch when someone, like, pretends to punch you. You know, it's not a nice thing to do, but it does make you think someone's about to punch you. And so, yeah, we're gonna get... Oh, apparently... Okay, well... We fell too high. No matter how much you think you know about the Cold War, I guess you need to remember that in Minecraft, there is a certain number of blocks you can fill. It's 23 if I'm not mistaken. And if you fill more than that, you will die, even if history's on your side. Which is a phrase I hate, by the way. Like, oh, history's on my side. It's like, no. I mean, like, we don't know how the future will be. We might develop into some horrific, you know, like, fascist Nazi state. You don't know how the future will be. Don't you just assume the future is positive? But no, more seriously, I hope you all enjoyed. I probably should cut that, yeah. Anyway, I hope you did all enjoy this video. Hope it taught you that really, any game of Treasure Wars, it's just the Cold War, but on a smaller scale. And hopefully, you know how to win it. And that way to win it doesn't involve jumping down an absurd number of blocks. Does that guy feel good, or does he feel like he won by default? I really want to know about that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Give it a like if you liked it. Give it a share if you really liked it. And I guess subscribe if you want to see more terrible history Minecraft mashup videos. Because that might be a thing in the future. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.